All right, so today you can see I have a huge mess on my desk, and it's actually organized chaos because what we're gonna do is we're gonna make cards like this that you can not color. I mean, essentially, we have a lot of these big sentiments. Well, hello, Lauren. How are you? Um, so we're gonna make some fun cards that you don't have to color. So what I've done is I've pre-cut a bunch of card fronts, mats, and card bases. And these are all A2. So this is all on sweet sentiment paper. This is black Stampin' Up! Paper, and then this is just 65-pound cardstock. Then I have chosen some stamp sets. So I have Your Password is Incorrect. I have Cake is Life. I have Sweet Sincerity, and I have Flip and Cool. I also have my bling out. I have my stamp chamois out and ready to go. I have a bunch of oxide inks that I've chosen for the different stamp sets. So I'm going to set some of these aside. So we can get started. You're also going to need your MISTI and glue, of course. We're gonna get rolling. So the one I want to start with is this one. Actually, I think that's a lie. Yes, it is. The one I want to start with is this one. So in choosing stamp sets to do this with, hey, you're finally here. I don't know who. Oh, well, hi, Milligan. You made it. So I want to start with a stamp set that has like a very large sentiment. And I think that having a big sentiment is something that's integral in making this type of card. But you're going to see how easy it is. So first of all, I've chosen 3 colors. This one I'm using Peacock Feathers, Uncharted Mariner, and Villainous Potion. So I'm going to grab one of my card fronts, and I'm going to grab, now there's several different ways that you can do this, so we're going to explore several different ways. Okay, so first things first, this is the big old sentiment. Now you could stamp the flowers and stuff too, but first I'm going to just do the sentiment to show you what I'm talking about, and then we can get all crafty and creative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my MISTI, and I'm going to put this in the corner. Now I like to line up my magnets so that they're at the very edge of the paper, so it's easier for me to center my stamp. So I'll go like this. I probably need to move this up. I'll go like this. I'll grab my stamp, and I'm just gonna center it between the magnets. There's another little trick is if you have a T-square ruler, is you can use your T-square and you can really go to town on making sure this is nice and straight. Aw, and I ruined it. There we go. I mean, at the end of the day, it's handmade. So it may not be perfect, but it's close enough to perfect for me. Okay, so I have my espresso handy, very important. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my Rabbit Hole Designs. This is the Cottontail embossing brush, and I'm just gonna hit my paper with some of that powder. Then I'm gonna grab my Versamark wherever I put it. Not real sure where it is. There it is. Now this one's all dark colors, so I'm gonna start by using the clear embossing powder. So my paper is white, and so the white underneath it. And again, like I always say, I like to emboss on everything. I don't know why, I just do. Also, probably in the middle of this broadcast, I have a new intern. Hey, Mel, how are you? We have a new intern that's starting with us today, so she's gonna pop in. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. And I'm going to use, this is just Wow embossing powder, and it's clear matte. And I'm gonna go all over this thing. Okay, when I emboss, I also like to tap the paper some, so it makes that embossing powder really get in there. And I have one little spot that I see I must not have gotten. All right, looks great. I did it, you guys. Look, I did it. I did it. I did it. It's okay though. Life is gonna go on for the most part. That's not strong enough. I'm just gonna squeegee it off into my little candy cup. See? No harm, no foul. I knew I'd do it sooner or later. All right. So this is my clear. I know, right? I used to have a love-hate relationship with embossing. Yes, until I found the Rabbit Hole Designs embossing tool, I did have a hate-hate relationship with embossing. There was no love involved. Okay, so I'm going to heat up my embossing gun. So it's going to take me just a second because you don't want to just turn the gun on cold and put it directly onto your embossing powder. Keep your embossing gun moving so you don't scorch your paper. There we go. And then I always go across the back just a little bit. Okay. Well, hello, Camper 1965. Is that my jewels? Or identify yourself. I did not get that embossed all the way. There we go. Bonnie. Well, hello, Bonnie. Nice to see ya. All right, so there we go. So we have clear embossed on white paper. Now, what we're gonna do, first of all, you're gonna be afraid because it's gonna look like you totally messed this up, like right from the get-go. So first things first, I'm gonna wipe off my stamp because I'm doing multiple cards, so if I don't stay organized, bad things are gonna happen. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back in here, and I'm gonna set it over here in my to be filed section. Okay, so first things first, this is going to totally look like you've done something wrong, and I promise it's gonna be okay. So I just grab a paper towel, and I'm gonna start around the outside with my Villainous Potion. So these are my Rabbit Hole Designs blending brushes. I love them. And I'm just gonna go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. I'm not putting very much pressure on the brush because I don't want to damage the brush. And also I don't need to like get this deep into the paper fibers. I just am staining the paper. Starting off the edge of the paper. And the reason I hold on to my paper with a paper towel is because you have oils in your fingers and they will actually resist the ink. And so if you notice you're getting some blotchy spots, that's either one, your paper, or two, the oils in your hand touching the paper. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Oh, Bonnie, I'm glad you caught alive. I need to know if you sent the teal candy cups. Not candy cups, oh my gosh. Espressos, teal espressos. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my Uncharted Mariner. I'm gonna start real light, no pressure. Gonna go all the way around. Now this is where it's gonna feel like you're messing up, because when you go over the top of the words, they're not going to, like, it's not gonna resist right away. So you're gonna be okay, I promise. It'll all work out for the greater good. But at first, it's not gonna look like it's working. Oh, getting over the Rona. I'm so sorry. At least you're getting over it, though, and not just starting it. Blend this out just a little bit more. Okay. And then to my peacock feathers. And I'm gonna go right over the top of those words. It's okay, I promise. It's just like magic. Okay, now I like to make sure that everything is like super smooth blended. So I'm gonna go back to my Villainous Potion and I'm gonna add a little bit more over the top of those blues. Just to kind of even them out some. Okay. Thank you. It is a really cool color combo. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do is, and this is just kind of a fun little like trick, is if you breathe on it, on your paper towel, there's just enough moisture when you wipe those off to make them really pop. Okay, so now you can do with it what you want. You can decorate it however you want. I like to take my water bottle and I like to short spray, meaning get fairly close and don't like actually fully pull the trigger, just kind of short pulls. And that's what gives you those larger droplets. Okay, now I let that sit and interact for a couple seconds. Sometimes I will even hold the middle down, just because when you wet the paper, these fibers expand, so it's expanding. The bottom isn't expanding because those fibers aren't wet. So I just hold this down for a second, just really to let that water interact with that ink. The longer you let this sit, the more of a crazy interaction you're gonna get. I don't want like a super intense interaction, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my paper towel and I'm gonna lay it over the top. Dry up all that water. And if you have ink that stays on your board, just spritz it with water. It's water reactive, so you're just going to be able to clean it right up. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside and let it dry a little bit. We will decorate it in just a moment, but that is with the clear embossing powder. So matte clear embossing powder from WOW. That's the embossing powder I used for that one. Yeah, I had a really hard time with embossing powder too. I never like mastered the art of embossing until this tool. This Rabbit Hole Designs tool is a total game changer. Okay. So now I'm gonna set these ones aside. I might use them later, I'm not sure, but we're gonna move them over. We're gonna grab our Misty again. And I think we're gonna do, let's see, which one do I wanna do next? Let's do the penguin one. Mainly because I'm cold. So we're gonna use Flip and Cool. And we're going to use a little penguin, okay? Do you want to use Flip and Cool or do you want to use Stay Cool? Grab a new paper towel. And a piece of Sweet Sentiment paper. So on this one, I'm gonna actually use an image. Okay, Lauren says Flip and Cool, so that's what we're gonna use is Flip and Cool. And I think I'm gonna use this little guy. So I'm gonna rough them up a little bit. Toss that down there. I'm gonna use this cool Emperor Penguin. Or some kind of penguin, I don't know. I'm not real sure, but hey, that's what we're gonna use. And I'm gonna put this little penguin like he is walking on top of that sentiment. Okay? I don't feel like that's very centered. That's better. Okay? So, grab my espresso. Don't forget, put your embossing resist or your anti-static powder all over your card. I know I go like crazy with it, but that's just how I am. Okay, I'm gonna take my Versamark. This time we're gonna use white powder. We're gonna see how it comes out. I have only ever done this with the clear embossing powder, so we're gonna use white and we're gonna see what happens. Because, I mean, why not experiment, right? So I have, this is the Lawn Fawn white embossing powder. I love, love, love this powder. It is the best white embossing powder I have found. And I've been through a lot of white embossing powders. All right, looks good. Okay, warm up my gun again. And let's emboss. Yes, these are our stamps. Of course they are. Of course they are. Gonna clean this off. These little penguins were from last winter. And I don't believe we have any more of them, but we did just sell out of them. So I thought a considerable amount of you would probably have them. And so that's why I wanted to use them for this. Okay, so here we are. Here's our little guy. So I'm gonna use Speckled Egg, Faded Jeans, and Black Soot. So Speckled Egg, Faded Jeans, and Black Soot. So I'm gonna start with my Black Soot. And I grabbed the wrong one. This is the one that's all dried up, but that's okay. Sandy bought me a new Black Soot, and I'm not sure what I did with it. It's somewhere. And I keep on thinking that I'm going to replace this, finally toss this one, but I haven't done it yet. Probably because I don't know where my new Black Soot is. Because this one's bad. There's not very much ink in it. You can tell by all the swirl marks that it's going dry. Now they do have refills and you can refill them and all that sort of fun stuff. I'm just not a refill kind of person. If it's not a refill for my Copics, I'm probably not going to be doing it. I've never had great success with refilling stamp pads, so I just don't do it. Look at how pretty that blue and that black mixed together. I'm really liking this white embossing powder using this technique. My shoulder's probably going to be sore from blending these. Getting my shoulder workout. Ooh, this white embossing powder is really cool, you guys. I think it might be white embossing powder for the win. How cool is that? Isn't that fun? Okay, so now super cool. Okay, and I'm gonna spritz this guy too. I know it is. It's such a fun technique and it's easy and it's great to make, like, if you got to make a lot of cards in a short amount of time. I'm going crazy with the water on this one just because it's such a dark color and I didn't spray inside the penguin a whole lot because I wanted him to stay like super dark. But this is definitely a really cool technique for when you have to make a lot of cards in a short amount of time. it's, you know, you can pull out your oxide inks and you can play, or if you have a group that you are teaching a bunch of cards to, or, you know, whatever, it's definitely a great go-to technique that's really easy to do. Not super time consuming. Look at how cool that is. It's so fun. I really, really love it. But definitely a great technique that anybody can do. Okay. So you guys want to do another one? You want to keep going? Or do you want to put cards together? Because we have 2 done. You want to do one more? Let's do one with the black embossing powder because we already have it out here. So, I mean, we may as well go for it. All right. So you guys get to choose. Do you want to do Cake is Life? Or do you want to do Your Password is Incorrect? The blues, I used Black Soot, Faded Jeans, and Speckled Eggs. Cake. Lauren says cake, so we're going with cake. All right. So I think I want to use this big happy birthday for it. So again, we're gonna pull out our Misty. We are going to, I think my intern's here. I'm super excited. You can come on in, Jenna. Okay, so I think we're gonna use this big happy birthday because it seems like a great one to use for this. And I'm gonna put it right in the middle here. Just like that. Stick it to the Misty. Don't forget your powder tool. Okay. Now, where did I put my Versamark? Here it is. Keep losing all my stuff. It's fine. Okay. Get a nice impression. Gonna stamp it again. Pull this out of here. Now, I like to use this WOW Primary Ebony Black super fine embossing powder for my black. I like this super fine because it actually gets into all the little nooks and crannies. Dump it right back in there. Look at how cool that is. Perfect. Every time with that Rabbit Hole Designs tool, let me tell you, it is the coolest little thing ever. Okay, so we're gonna heat up our embossing gun again, and we're gonna emboss. All right. Okay. Let that cool for a second. Let me move these inks out of the way. And we are going to grab some birthday colors. I got Saltwater Taffy, Squeezed Lemonade, and Shaded Lilac. I knew that I was gonna do this one in black, so I went with lighter colors. So I'm gonna start around the outside with the Shaded Lilac. At least you guys get to see this done with all 3 embossing powders, so you can decide which one you like the best before you go for it on your own. So pretty. I like that color. You can stop at just this point. You don't have to continue on with the colors. But, I mean, I'm all about wall-to-wall coloring, so that's why I'm continuing. Did the video freeze on you guys? Or did I just accidentally hit pause? I might have accidentally hit pause. You guys are all being so very quiet. Okay, now we are going to grab the yellow. Squeezed Lemonade is my favorite yellow of the Oxide inks. And if you blend it in with that Saltwater Taffy, you get like a peachy color. So it makes it look like you used more colors than you actually did. Just kind of fun. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm glad it didn't freeze. Ink blending. Hi, Roberta. Hi, Roberta. How are you? All right. So I have this one. Again, I'm going to spritz. I'm going all crazy. It's a fun color. Super duper fun. So as we're waiting for the ink to interact, I'm gonna grab my bling. I'm going to grab, oops, good thing my lid was on that. I have made 3 of these, so I'm gonna grab 3 mats and 3 card bases. Make sure I don't set those in the water. Saltwater taffy and squeezed lemonade and shaded lilac. I didn't get very much water over here, so I'm going to try a secondary spritz. Usually it doesn't work out so well for me, but we're going to see. We're going to try a secondary spritz and see how it goes. Yes, it does. It's on that set. So it's the happy birthday one right here. They do make a really pretty sunset color. I love the peach that the squeezed lemonade and saltwater taffy make together. There. All right. So I'm going to start by gluing the other ones first because they have already dried. So I'm going to grab my black mats and I'm going to grab my Bearly Art glue. And the glue gives you just a moment to line these up. And then I use my espresso to burnish the glue. And now I'm going to do the next one. And yes, I use way too much glue. It's part of my charm. You definitely don't need that much glue, but I just can't help myself. Okay. Now my last card base and card. Well, this isn't card base, this is a card mat. But you get what I mean. Yeah, please take this technique forward and use it. Let's see if I got that straight before I glue it down. Okay, now I like to, for a little extra dimension, take these and use my Sweet Pops. And just like using too much glue, I use too many Sweet Pops. It's just part of my charm. Roberta, do you have all of the oxide inks? Are you a oxide ink connoisseur like I am? I was really sad because I couldn't find my venomous potion for the longest time. And then I finally found it. So there's a cool little trick that if you put a little bit of glue on these, when you glue or when you go to adhere this to your card base, you can wiggle it around because the glue is liquid, but I don't ever do that. I mean, I suppose I could, but I just eyeball it and get it close enough. So the key is to make sure your card is opening in the right direction. And then I just don't press down on this until I get it where I want it. Like, obviously that was not the right spot. It's honestly easier to line up the long edge. And yep, that's how I want it. So there we go. There's card number 1. Gonna have a whole pile. Oh, you collect the colors you know you're gonna use? I know I'm gonna use them all, so I collect them all. I have, but it's too much for me to try to do all that. So I don't. I figure at the end of the day, it's homemade. And if they want to pull out a T-square and measure the card, then they're not my kind of people. Our design team member, Tyler, always says at the end of the day, it's homemade. And I just really took to liking that sentiment. And so much so that we added it to a stamp set. And I mean, when you're working with 1/8 of an inch borders, you're pretty much going to get it lined up. Okay, there's number 2. And here's number 3. So the Sweet Pops come on a roll, and I always take them off of the roll. I just cut each of them individually so that I have this little container of them. I even took the sticker off the packaging and put the sticker on the container so that I have it all labeled and handy. Look at that. I picked up the exact right amount. It's all of a sudden getting really dark here. I hope it hasn't affected the video. Hopefully you guys can still see. Okay. Again, open it up. Make sure you're putting this on the right way. Line up the long side. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bling and I'm going to grab my glue. I'm going to start with this one because I already know that I want to put black spots on this one. So this one, I'm going to go from the corner, 1, 2, 3, and from this corner, 1, 2, 3. And then I need a medium-sized one. And then I want a small one. My goodness gracious. These are heavier on the one side. There we go. Because they're domed in that direction. So super cool. Really easy cards. This one, I'm going to use the clear ones. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They are also cool. Thank you. These ones are harder to see because they're clear. So the thing about using the clear ones is right now they're gonna look white because of the glue underneath them. But as soon as the glue dries, you do not have to worry about it. They do not dry white. They will dry absolutely clear if you use the Bearly Art glue. I cannot attest or testify to any other glue. There we go. And then on this one, I'm gonna use these sparkly ones. And I'm just gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna put a large one in the center, maybe. And then I'm gonna put two medium ones. Nope, that one's too small. So it's this one. Just like that. Super pretty. And there you guys go. We made 3 cards all inside of an hour, starting with absolutely nothing. So I thought that you would really enjoy this technique. It's super duper fun. It's super duper easy. And most of you have all of this stuff on hand. So this is definitely stuff that you can really use those big sentiments for. They really work fantastic to do this with. And, you know, just put some of those stamp sets to work. Ones that are really intricate work great with this. So really intricate flowers, super intricate like people and things like that that you are afraid to color, but you really want to use. Yes, that is a new gem picker. Joy Wilson got it for me. So anything that you're like really afraid to use, if you're afraid to use any of those really intricate stamp sets or like people or things that you're just not comfortable coloring, critters, stuff like that, this is a great technique to use with that. And like I said, florals work really well with this and sentiments work really well with this. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys all probably tomorrow. Toodles!